Looks nice. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, just say hi.
Hi. So, I don't know, maybe some technical difficulties trying to get this figured out, but it seems like it might work. I don't know, maybe refresh that.
I did.
Okay. If you can see me, say hi. Say something in the comments.
Oh, yeah, no. We're
There we
just
go.
here staring like idiots.
Okay, that's fine. It's really good. There's a slight delay
Confused
between the
idiots.
camera that's live and then the laptop where the things are.
It's okay. We're just
So,
chilling.
hello everybody. All right. So, we're just going to kind of make this a relaxing sort of narcissistic chit chat.
As that
It's
can be.
relaxing, yes, because narcissism is the most relaxing topic to ever talk about.
For sure.
I couldn't pick something else, like, I don't know, sleeping. Like sleeping. To look.
That's why we're doing it on an afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right, so I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
That's okay. So anyway, I wanted to do this video and talk a little bit about narcissism and thought to do this as a live. So if some people are stopping by, chime in, share an experience or two or three, and yay, you've caught me in a stream.
Well, that's why we're trying to do it at a different time.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm paying some attention to the people across the Atlantic,
Yeah.
and so you guys can jump in as well. Because whenever I do these, it's usually later, and then everybody, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and nobody wants to see me at 2 o'clock in the
Hi
morning.
from Toronto.
Much loved Canada. Thank you. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about narcissism. This topic is like super triggering for me.
It's triggering
for like
all
everybody.
Of us, boo. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I think more than any other comment or any other video that I've had, this is the one that just gets everybody really riled up.
This is the most requested
By far.
topic.
By far.
Period. So here we are.
It's usually my most commented on videos are the ones with narcissism. If you have not, just search the channel for it. You're going to see the one with the whole chess set and that analogy, and that kind of kicked this off. So I didn't want to become a narcissism channel for sure, but this is kind of a topic that's important.
There are some out there though. If you need recommendations,
there are, and there's some really good
there.
ones too. Yeah. So the reason I wanted to hit on this in terms of MBTI is because I feel like INFJs in particular, and this is an INFJ hangout, we tend to be pretty susceptible to the narcissists.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Just a few times for me. Haven't learned to avoid some of those red flags, I guess. And so there are 4 cognitive types that have extroverted feeling really high up. ENFJ, ESFJ, INFJ, ISFJ. So for the E's, you guys have FE as a dominant function. For the I's, INFJ, ISFJ, we have that FE as our auxiliary function. But all that means really is that we're placing a hi.
Everybody's saying hi.
Well, hello everybody. We're
People
placing
are
a lot of
trickling in.
weight. We're placing a lot of weight on the emotions and feelings of other people, which just so happens to be the narcissist's favorite like meal is your emotional stability.
They can, like, sniff it out.
Yeah, they're like
really good at it.
Parasites.
Even if they don't know, they're good at it.
They're like,
still
that
really
one's
good at it.
look at all the tears on that one. They're juicy. I'm gonna go just like, what is that a bad analogy? That's not a bad analogy.
It's aggressive.
I mean, a little bit, but sometimes they're aggressive.
Well, yeah.
I'm just calling it like it is, man. That's it. That's fine. So yes, hi everybody. So it really is a perfect story.
It really
yes,
is.
It really.
It's not a great combination, but that's why we're here to talk about it and like why that's a thing and what you can do. Essentially, what I've done, what we all have hopefully learned how to do to protect ourselves from it and know how to recognize it.
I want to get a little bit into types of narcissists and things like that. Just to touch on it, look, I am not some kind of clinical psychologist. I'm not that. I'm not an expert in NPD.
I took psychology, like 101. Does that count?
Do they talk NPD stuff or no?
I don't think so.
No, well, see, there you go. I mean, honestly,
I never got to take abnormal.
It was like
really
it should be like
to.
required in school.
Good morning.
To like learn about narcissism, just to protect yourself, like for crying out
Hi
loud.
from Bend, Oregon.
Oh, Bend, Oregon. I've been there. It's beautiful
Oregon,
there.
Oregon?
Don't say Oregon. Nobody's. Don't be that.
Like the
person.
Oregon Trail.
That's not how. That's not how it's said. That's not how it's said.
That's how we say it in New
Oregon.
York, okay? Because
You
we've
say-
obviously never been there.
You say Oregon. It's fine.
Yes, good evening from the UK. We were hoping
Good.
that we
Yes. I wanted to reach
would
across
be
and see
able
some
to
of
get
you.
to you
Absolutely.
guys too.
So a little bit on this. Obviously, this is just a really huge topic, and there's a lot to it. I think the first thing I wanted to state was to not fall into the trap of making the mistake that anybody who treats you poorly is a narcissist, because that's just not the case,
Yeah,
right?
no, there's a difference between a jerk.
and
a
somebody that actually
narcissist.
has narcissistic personality disorder.
Yeah, I just learned recently that it's actually not wise to throw the word narcissist around if you're not 100% positive. If somebody actually is one, because you kind of take some of the meaning away from the word, like you devalue what it means
Right.
in a more clinical setting.
That makes a lot of sense. If everybody's a narcissist, nobody's a narcissist, kind
Yeah.
of thing. So it is important to be sure. And
No,
use
we
that
all want to
label.
call all of our
I
exes
know.
narcissists.
They're all that's not how it works. That's not true.
I mean, it probably is true for most of us in this chat, but that's
Yeah,
that's
not.
a difference.
That's not it. That's like there's a lot to it, right? So
Sugar Mama. Hi.
hey, sugar mama. Definitely overused.
Overused.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And hey, Julie, how
I don't
are
think
you?
people really understand the weight.
Go ahead, Angela's
that.
here too. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so happy you guys are here. Hi.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's just another.
Fungus stats.
This is extra protein for us. It's fine.
Oh, hi, Cindy.
Cheers. Hi, Cindy. I'm glad to see my UK peeps out here. This is nice.
Angela. Yes.
Everybody's feeling tickety-boo. Right, so we're going to talk about narcissism
Not
and talk
Oregon.
about our
Okay,
feelings.
yeah, it's like Oregon. All right,
Figure
you know
out
what,
Daisy.
Peter? I'm sorry.
Peter's
I've
absolutely.
never been there.
It's pronounced Oregon, not Oregon. That's good. That's really good.
Like Aura.
And hey, Leah from
Oregon.
Alabama. That's awesome.
Whatever.
It's fine. So onto
We
this
hate them
topic,
too,
right?
Penny.
We've got a real good mix of cognitive functions that make it very easy for narcissists to just kind of prey upon us. And one of the reasons for that is that extroverted feeling, right? It's very prominent for us. We definitely tend to consider the emotions and feelings of other people as we make decisions. We do follow our gut. That's your intuition going on. But it's something where we want people to be happy. We definitely want some harmony. INFJs aren't good with disharmony or things being out of place and things like that. We like stuff to make sense. We like the patterns to fit. And so when you have someone as a narcissist who's easily able to prey upon that and manipulate, it seems like you fall into that trap very, very quickly. And before you know it, you're just like, what am I doing and where is my identity? And this person just completely kind of
Well, they cut you
runs
off
roughshod
too.
over it.
They isolate you.
That's definitely a symptom, so to speak,
Yeah.
of being in some kind of a narcissistic dynamic. If you have a friend who's narcissistic, a lot of times they'll get really angry when you're hanging out with somebody that is not that friend. If you're in a relationship, there's a narcissistic relationship, you'll be forced a lot of times to make decisions between the harmony of your family and that relationship dynamic and things along those lines. So there are definitely those telltale signs of being isolated from the things that you're used to and the things that you're comfortable with in order to be in this other reality and to feed into that narcissistic person. I don't know, man. This is like, I've had some serious experiences with this kind of stuff.
I feel like we all have.
Yeah, I mean, I had two major ones. One of them was business world, and one of them was relationship, one of my first relationships. And so they definitely, they leave marks, they leave scars. Looking back, I can definitely see where my missteps were and where I didn't really recognize or really stand up for myself in the manner that I should have. And then getting over that was really, really difficult, and honestly took years to try and get over.
I don't think I'm even like okay still.
Well, I mean, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure I'm saying hi to people too.
10,000 Days of Gratitude wanted to say that it's important to note that even an INFJ can be a narcissist.
100%.
Though a lot of the times we would tend to be more like covert narcissists.
So on that, because I get that question a lot of people ask, can an INFJ be a narcissist? Like narcissistic personality disorder. Yeah, I did.
In a video,
I did take the test
actually.
in the video.
You should put that in the description when we're done.
And the test was like, no, actually, you should just
take
stand
a
up
note
for
of that
yourself.
to put it in the description.
Put test.
Because I thought that was a really interesting video. I think it's super underrated video on your channel, honestly.
Right.
Because you can take the test along with him. He goes through each question, and then you find out your results at the end.
It's like the at-home version of like The Price is Right.
Because people all the time will be like, "You're a narcissist because you're on YouTube," and it's like, no, not at all. I know more introverts that are like really uncomfortable with.
Right.
Like, we're probably the most uncomfortable people with this whole thing. Like he was freaking out 10 minutes ago.
I was freaking out 10 minutes ago.
I'm like,
it's not like you guys are scary. You're not scary.
Okay. No, it's just.
But it's just like,
it's
you know,
a weird experience.
and a lot of it is just this topic too. This topic really is like, it's.
For INFJs, magnets to narcissists, I feel like I might be.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting at. We tend to be, because we're nurturers, you know what I mean? And we have, like he said, that strong, what is it called? External feeling?
Extroverted feeling, yeah.
I don't always mix up external and
it's pretty much the same thing, but the proper way is extroverted.
I know, but then I just feel like I'm not saying
not
it right.
Not extroverted, but extraverted. Yeah, that's the thing. That's my boy Carl. He said that. Right?
So everybody's pretty much agreeing.
Yeah, so...
because we wouldn't be here without him.
No, of course. I do think that...
like, we would be physically alive, but not, like, here.
You didn't have to clarify that. That was totally unnecessary. Carl's my dad. Yeah. Something ridiculous has to happen on the live stream. It's fine. It's good.
We can't edit.
No, this is good. Yes, I think INFJs tend to be magnets for narcissists in a lot of ways. But here's the thing. I think you're more susceptible to narcissism or a narcissistic relationship as a younger INFJ than you are as an older INFJ. And that just comes from having some experiences with them as a younger INFJ. So congratulations, you're in that whole ride right now. If you're younger. As an older INFJ, you tend to have a little bit better handle on some of your other functions. You're a bit more balanced. And so, you know, that's our goal, right? Is to be healthy INFJs. And so we can be the sweet, sweet INFJs that I'm always talking to on here. And you can be that gift that I am constantly reminding you that you actually are, because you are, right? And so that comes with a lot of internal work. And doing that internal work to make sure that you are steeling yourselves against that type of person is what's really critical. The healthier you are, and the more practice you have setting boundaries, and the more capable you are of doing that, the more armored you are against somebody who has narcissistic tendencies. Now remember, narcissism exists on a bit of a spectrum, right? So you can have somebody that is an unhealthy person or a toxic friend. That doesn't mean they're a narcissist, just because they have some of the traits. Usually, I think what a psychologist would do is go down the list of traits and basically tick off like how many you're really showing, and that kind of makes a determination as to whether you are somebody with NPD or not. There's a lot of gray area to it, because you can just be an unhealthy person and you can just kind of be a jerk from your upbringing and everything else. Though I did read, it was very interesting, a study on. I forget what university it was. I'll have to see if I can dig it up. Where they said that they did a long-term study starting from like mid-'80s through 2009, I want to say. And they noticed that in college-aged people, that narcissistic traits are like skyrocketing. And so it's more prevalent that you're going to find somebody that has NPD today than it would have been 10 to 20 years ago. Say what you want about it. Maybe that's due to social media and due to that whole competitive nature and people with insecurities. A lot of times it gives you something to kind of latch onto because you're starting to get validation that you never received before. And that can be quite addictive. Those are your dopamine hits, right? Somebody telling you look great and so on and so forth. And so you keep posting and then all of a sudden everything is about you. Congratulations, you're a narcissist, off we go. I'm not sure if it works exactly like that, but you know what I mean. I think that may have something to do with it. Do you have any questions?
A lot of people are just talking about boundaries.
That's important.
And how, like,
That's important.
I say that all the time as an INFJ. I think Cindy said, after experience, you start to notice patterns. So,
Right.
and then, you know, Sugar
Absolutely.
Mama agrees. You can set boundaries better now because you learn lessons.
Right.
Charlotte says, yes, we become more mature. Setting boundaries and being more alert
Yes.
for signals, says Liz.
Jerks abound without the disorder. 100%.
Well, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Boundaries are foreign to an unenlightened, I think unenlightened, or just a young INFJ.
Summon,
yeah.
summon. I always summon Shrek when I'm in trouble. I'm
What
like,
about
Shrek,
the different
talk to me.
levels of relationships? I'm not sure what you mean, Christina.
Yeah,
Can you
clarify
be
that
more
one for
specific?
us. So maybe we could touch on
Lots
that
of
one.
love from Ireland. Hi.
Oh, lovely. Is that
Thanks for
slancha?
clarifying,
That's how you
yeah.
say it, right? I mean, this is just water,
What?
but still. Slancha. Lawn chair?
That's what I thought you just
It's my lawn chair. That's what it sounds like to stupid Americans. Or
I don't know what you just said.
slancha. It's like cheers. It's
We never
salute.
asked if we sounded okay. We sound okay, right?
I think people can hear us. They're good. They're playing this ruse for a long time without us being audible. I don't think that's what it was. Can I get some applause? They're fungus gnat. They're like little annoying gnats.
It's fine.
All right, so just to touch on some of the different types of narcissists. And hey, Liz, you can hear your laughs loud and clear. It's good. It's really good. It's just what I want to do.
I'm very giggly today. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So you have a grandiose narcissist, right? Which we should probably touch on first because that's kind of the classic.
Okay, this question keeps coming
What?
up though. Any famous INFJs that you can think of that are still alive?
Famous mainstream
Didn't
INFJs.
we just have this conversation because a bunch of them were dead that we were
Yeah,
talking
we were talking about
about
Gandhi and Hitler, though. Like that's
yeah.
kind of awful.
And were we talking about Shakespeare, or did he just write a lot of INFJ
I think he was just
characters?
really whiny.
He was really.
No, I think he was just really whiny. Like I mean, like all like
so dramatic.
mad respect
I
to the
knew
bard.
you for like an hour,
Seriously.
and then I had to kill
You would-
myself over it. That's the whole story. It is okay. Anyway,
I mean, that sounds like a vulnerable narcissist to me, but that's fine.
is that not what it is?
Maybe that's
though?
what Romeo was. I don't know. So a grandiose narcissist, right? This is one that you think of that has this. They're on a pedestal. All of their achievements are just otherworldly and amazing, and everybody needs to worship them, and so on and so forth. Probably a high concentration of that type of person in celebrity culture, for sure. Like, I would think so. There's probably quite a few narcissistic celebrities out there because people are fawning over them constantly. So, like,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
That is pretty common.
Yeah. Who sent the thumbs down? Seriously? The one thumbs down? It's fine.
I saw that a little while
It's
ago.
alright. It's fine.
It's
You know,
gonna
whatever.
happen with this topic.
It's okay.
We gotta be prepared for the hate.
I'm totally, I don't care at this point. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
all good.
see, someone didn't know what a narcissist was until recently. Listen, when I
Yeah.
figured it out, everything started to make sense. I started doing all this research, and I was like, wow,
Right.
wow.
It does kind of pull the
Actually,
veil
let
away.
me see if it'll even let me share a link. Wait, how do you paste? I'm gonna share a link to a playlist. Dr. Ramani, that's her
yeah.
video for the 7 types of narcissism, and her whole entire channel is literally about this.
If you're watching this live stream like after here, like in the future, that's really weird to think of. But look in the chat for that link and then
Hello
hit
from the
that.
past.
And it's hello from the past.
Yeah, no, you should put the whole playlist link. I don't think that's the whole playlist. I think that's just the first video of the playlist.
People
That
can
talks
find it.
about
She
the
is great,
7
yes.
types of narcissists, and then she has individual videos that like multiple that break down each one. So
Right. My narcissistic body trail of relationships taught me I was an INFJ. It's a terrible way to learn it. but it's a
Yeah.
way to learn it for sure.
Yeah.
So on the types, right? Your grandiose narcissist. This
Yeah.
is that, you know,
She is great.
otherworldly, above everything else kind of narc, needs to be worshipped and fawned over and all of those different things, and somebody that can really use and manipulate you to their own ends.
Yeah. See,
And
everybody loves Dr. Romney.
I think that's probably one of the primary traits. The
I've never
business
heard of Dr. Carter.
the business relationship that I had with a narcissist, that was a grandiose narcissist. I'm talking about
Hi,
somebody
Kim. Hi,
that
Kim.
was, hi Kim. I'm talking about somebody that was constantly putting himself in this position of just being this all-knowing, all-seeing, capable of absolutely everything, you know, type of person, and was willing to cut or destroy any relationship that didn't serve his purpose. And even further, when I did stand up to him and cut that relationship out, he went so far as to contact people that I knew to say that they were not permitted. This is an adult telling other adults that they're not permitted to speak about me to each other. And so,
Seems normal.
if that's not a narcissistic move, like, I don't really know what is. Like,
Yeah.
because that is him protecting his grandiose vision of himself at all costs and basically
Yeah.
trying to control what he couldn't control anymore. And this just happened to be a case where I was operating karate school, and this is a person that was kind of the head of the organization at the time before I split and became independent. And so that organization was failing, and I recognized it, and everything just kept being the same problem over and over again. And I came to quickly realize that the people that were in my school that were under my tutelage were most important to me, and they were not important to him other than dollar amounts. And so I don't see personal relationships that way. So I decided to be an independent person and have an independent karate school, which I did. That break there was a lot of anxiety leading up to that. And it was something that I struggled with a great deal because I was really afraid. And I think a lot of times setting those boundaries and feeling like you're unable to comes down to fear. You're afraid of how they're going to react. You're afraid of what could happen. You're afraid of taking that step forward on your own. All of those different things come into play and a narcissist will absolutely play on that fear. And like, yeah, you can't do this on your own, and so on and so forth, to just make you dependent on them and to constantly be feeding into that. Sure enough, once I made that break, my business took off. It was better than ever.
You lose your identity
You do,
in
because
their idea.
you become the identity
you.
of what they want.
Yeah.
Instead of who you actually are, which just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, you remembered. Hi, Amanda. Covert, more dangerous. Yeah.
Not necessarily more dangerous, just harder
Yeah.
to spot.
Right,
Because
perhaps
they
that's
can
why.
be very self-deprecating. They can be very emotional. I even knew one that said to me, "I think I might be a narcissist."
Well, if that's not a telltale sign.
I was like, so yeah.
So was it feel bad for me? I think I might be a narcissist?
No, it was after the fact that he had
Oh.
done a bunch of messed up things, and I was like, "What is wrong with you?"
No, okay. I mean, that's a good question to ask anybody, of course. What's the matter with you?
Oh, goodness
You know, they say that one of the
gracious.
tests for narcissism is you ask somebody if they're a narcissist, and a lot of times the answer is yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if a grandiose narcissist would answer it that way.
Dr. Romney once
know.
said that narcissists are way more common than we generally assume. I always thought that they were super rare and that I was just unlucky.
Again, I think there is that difference because it is on a spectrum. It's not like a narcissist switch, right?
Right.
You may have NPD tendencies.
That's why it's good to be able
And
to
not.
recognize the behaviors.
Right. So what are some of what's a telltale behavior of a narcissist? What's one that you think sticks out the most?
They tend to be really insecure once you get underneath the surface, which we're good at doing as INFJs. We're good at seeing past the image that people are projecting that they want people to see, because most people don't care enough to really look beyond that. but we can't help it. We kind of just naturally see beyond that, and you can tell that they're very insecure people.
You see past the front, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just have to like turn it on and trust your intuition in that sense.
Seeing that comes down to being a healthier INFJ, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so when you really get into that and you're trying to dig down to figure somebody out, and you're not just swept away with, oh my gosh, they're so amazing, and all that kind of stuff, then you start to really get a handle on like, whoa, let me look at those behaviors and see, and perhaps that's not best for me to get into as far as a friendship or anything else. You know, sure, I mean, if they're a malignant narcissist, like, then they're just kind of like, that's sociopath, psychopath type stuff. In that case, cut contact and run. That's not a safe person to be around.
This is tough too.
What's that?
Perfect Love No Fear was talking about how it divided the family because a parent was a narcissist and she called them out on it. So Dr. Ramani talks about that a lot too, and all the reasons why you shouldn't call a narcissist out on being a narcissist, because it doesn't actually do anything good for anybody.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, because like you want to. That's like the first thing you want to do is like point the
You're
finger
a
and be like,
narcissist.
you know, you want to say a lot worse than that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
like again,
it's hard, but she has videos about the like the generational or the familial narcissist that you might find helpful for that situation.
And again, it's like be careful with the term. We can't just
keeping up
throw it out. Like if I'm at the drive-through lane at Chick-fil-A and I'm trying to get myself some waffle fries,
they never want to talk about you,
and they just
like,
give me
ever.
one thing of barbecue sauce and not two. I'm not like, you're a narcissist. Give me the other barbecue sauce.
No matter how sad you are, Kim said something good here. They never want to talk about or hear about you, like ever. The only thing they ever want to know is they will pry for information about you, and you'll think that it's because they care, but they're just like banking up information and trying to figure out your insecurities so they could turn it around and use it against you.
Right. Otherwise, they'll sit there and charm you. They'll be like, well, that's enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Well, yeah, we
How
haven't
great
even
am I?
used the word love bombing yet.
Oh, God.
Because that's usually how they get you. They do. And it's like the best feeling on the face of the planet.
Gaslighting and love bombing. Oh,
the love bombing comes first.
It's like a whole narcissistic
gaslighting
dictionary.
comes second.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, gaslighting comes from like an old movie.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't, but I know the premise.
Say something if you've seen it. It's actually a really good movie. And the gaslighting is because in the houses in the old days, they actually had a gas line running through the house
and
lanterns.
Even about small things.
And they would you would light the gas lantern to provide light, like in a hallway or something else.
Yes.
Which sounds super safe, by the way. Hold on a second.
Guilt trip you.
So in the movie, okay, just hang on a second. In the gaslighting movie, they're talking about like one of the tricks that he plays is turning the light on when she knew she turned it off, and then being like, no, you're crazy. Like, of course you turned it on, just to try and get into her head and make her think that she's crazy, and so on and so forth. So it's a lot of things like that. It's definitely an old style movie, so it has a slower pace. But if you can find it somewhere, definitely give it a look, because it's the origin of the term gaslighting, and it certainly implies like the dude was a narcissist in that.
Well, because I think that when you think about it just as a concept, you're like, oh no, like nobody would be able to trick me like that, but like it's a lot easier than you think.
Well, yeah, because you're weaker. Like you're.
Kevin says something good here too. They guilt trip you into constantly like feeling bad for them until you're completely drained.
Yeah, because then you're like, I'm sorry I made you feel this way, right? You're an INFJ. You've got this high FE. And so you're going to, like, when somebody is reacting that way, you're going to be like, okay, this is my fault. I mean, look, how many of us have said this numerous times? Like, you know, sorry for existing. Like, I just wanted to say hello or whatever. And so when you have that insecurity, and that is something that a narcissist is just going to leech right off of, it really is a great mix for them to kind of dig their claws into you.
Yeah, continually denying or making you believe something that's not true and insisting it is. Yeah.
Right.
Gaslighting, like in the most simplest terms, is literally trying to convince you of a different reality. Even though you may have seen it happen with your own eyes, like you just took a sip of your drink and I'm like, no, you didn't.
Right, but I did.
But you didn't.
But I don't need to drink.
No, but you really didn't.
But I'm really not parched anymore, so it's fine.
Like you're just making it up in your head.
Yeah, like what's the matter with you? Or just like refill the drink and be like, no, you didn't
They're
drink
just
any of
way
that.
better at it because we're like terrible liars.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that happens at parties, I guess. So other types of narcissists, right? So we covered kind of overt, which is grandiose.
Somebody talked about malignant being worse
Psychopaths.
than covert.
Right, sociopaths, psychopaths.
They are like the most aggressive
Oh, for
type,
sure.
For sure.
There's zero empathy.
They'll like know too. They're like, yeah, I'm a sociopath.
Yeah.
I follow a girl on YouTube
tend to be
who that's
sadistic.
literally what she talks about on her channel.
She is one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and she like
interesting.
has
We
a
gotta find
boyfriend
that.
and stuff. It's very uncomfortable to watch,
Communal
but
narcissist.
also fascinating. You know that's my favorite.
Communal narcissist is your favorite? Go ahead. Why is a communal narcissist your favorite?
Because I was raised in a religious setting and I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really common in that type of setting because people will take on that role of wanting to feel almost like God, and they have these people worshiping them because they think they're such a good person. They do so many good things for the church and for the community.
I'm feeding the poor. I'm organizing all of this. Look at how much I do for charity.
Look at what I do for all these people, but literally your own father could be over here dying and you won't give him a penny. Right. But you're giving all your money to the church because that's what people are seeing.
Right.
You're feeding all of this into the community to create this, like, you know, idea of who you are as like this saint so that everybody worships you and talks about how great you are, but really, like, you treat your own family like trash.
If you're doing the good deed
Not
for
speaking
accolades,
from experience.
Yeah, I know, right? If you're doing the good deed for accolades, that's the wrong reason, right? So if you're being nice with somebody, if you're doing the good things and whatnot, or you'd spend some time with some charity here or there, or donate a little bit here or there, and you're not posting all about it all over social media, that's tends to be the right way to handle it, right? Look at me and look at how great and gracious I am. Yeah, I mean, that's a communal narcissistic trait right there for sure. But we get another one?
It's somebody said it's why my mom goes to church. It's because she gets affirmation from others.
Not sitting here trying to slam church.
No. I think it's just.
But I'm just saying.
Common.
Right. That's a setting.
In that type of setting.
Right.
It's like the example I tend to think of. That's not like the exact definition of communal narcissist, but any type of community setting.
Right. Even workplace. Like a workplace narcissist in a way that is a communal setting. Look at how much I'm doing for this.
Yeah, because they have
the job for this. I bring in the donuts. And look at how great I bring in the donuts.
Everybody loves you. Because they don't see who you are when you go home, when you leave that space.
No, and
so
realistically,
you can put on
they want
an
a promotion
act for everybody there.
Yeah. Realistically, they're just looking for the promotion or the accolades or raise
or
or
and
whatever.
also kind of sad. Unicorn Lover says narcissistic mothers that are jealous of their daughters.
I don't even know if I
That's a thing for sure, but there's
really
also
terrible.
the thing where there's narcissistic parents who raise narcissistic children and then they just become a constant supply for each other, and it's like the most toxic thing I've ever witnessed.
Okay, so really interesting. They do say that narcissism is to some degree hereditary. And so that definitely does.
Well, it's a behavior.
It is, and it's like that learned and ingrained at an early age behavior. So
plus,
it makes sense.
Plus, if you were a narcissistic parent, wouldn't you want to raise your child to be within? Because narcissists like to have like their circle of people that they're happy with, that will feed them. That's their supply.
Yep. Yeah.
If you stop giving them supply, then you're automatically on their shit list. They're gonna make your life hell. But when you're in their bubble, you're their best friend in the whole entire world. So wouldn't you want your child to be in that bubble feeding that supply? I mean, they live with you. They don't know any better. You're teaching them everything they know.
Yep.
They would be a constant source of supply.
And then with their friends, as they start to get older, they learn those behaviors and they try to use those behaviors among their friends to supply themselves in the same way that everything was sucked out of them as a child.
So, like, it makes sense why it would be something that gets passed down.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want your child to go against you.
Which is weird, because that comes up with as somebody with NPD, is that something that is curable or in some way, or like something where they can get past and beyond
the fact that they like lack empathy and that this is like a, you know, a behavioral disorder or like a chemical imbalance.
So,
but I don't think that anybody really necessarily knows where that comes from. So
Right.
how can you really treat it unless you're choosing to be different?
And I'm pretty sure that according to like the literature and psychology and everything else, that NPD or narcissistic personality disorder, there's no official like designations as far as the different types. And we know them, and I think they're categorized, but I don't think it's like an official thing where they're categorized. Like this person is an NPD and they are a communal narcissist. Like you just have those kinds of traits.
That's really common too. Having somebody, having them hang everything they do for you over your head.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
They will never forget.
Yeah.
One single thing.
I did this for you, so you owe me. Et cetera,
yeah.
et cetera. Right. Like,
That's
oh,
really
now you're not
common,
going to.
I think, within like families.
And that leads to the guilt trip. Like, I did this for you, or I loaned you this money when you were,
I stopped
whatever.
talking to my own grandmother when I was 18 years old, and all of my other siblings were like, "Oh, how could you do that? How could you do that?" I was like, "Because she's not a good person, and I'm not going to be part of it anymore."
Right.
Because that's exactly how she acted.
Well, and that's setting the boundary.
And now nobody talks to her. I just did it first.
Look at you.
Look at me and my boundaries. 18-year-old me. I didn't even know what a narcissist was.
Right.
Now I know that she 100% is one. Like, without any question.
You can recognize
and
a
it
toxic
made me
person.
very uncomfortable to be around. I just didn't have these terms to use for it. I didn't know I was an INFJ. I didn't know what a narcissist was. Although that would have been really, really helpful. Because then I could have avoided my first relationship.
Should be a class in school.
It honestly
really
should
It
be.
should be part of health class.
I keep seeing my name pop up and I can't keep up with these comments. I'm trying.
That's fine. So there's that. The covert narcs, the ones that tend to hide behind vulnerability. And that sort of thing, and those are the ones that are really just it's like a woe is me narcissist in a lot of ways, right? They're the sneaky ones. It's hard to figure that out, and it's hard to know where that's coming from. Is that like a genuine insecurity? Is that something where somebody's really triggered by something in their past, or is it in fact something that's used to manipulate?
Yeah.
What's that?
Mental health in general, just like all those things can get passed down. People are talking, they're having conversation about.
Yeah, no, that's good. I want this to be kind of like an open discussion sort of thing. And
Sarah wants to know how many INFJs' first relationships were with narcissists.
It's fine. It's good. It's
so messed up because it shapes. We'll let you all raise your hands for a moment. Like, it's messed up because that's a relationship that kind of like shapes what you think that a relationship is supposed to be like.
Because you don't know what's normal.
No, I don't know what's normal. Even still, he's nice to me, and I'm like, why are you so nice?
You're all right. That's really funny. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm just not used to it. I know that's something that people are really curious about too, the dynamic between two INFJs. We'll get there.
I'm curious about you. Like, when did you have that realization with your first relationship where it was like, this is like, no, like this is not right, or this person's it, or was the narcissist revelation like long afterwards?
Long afterwards. Like, I just was like, this is an evil person. Like, he has zero good, like I could not find 1 ounce of good in there at all. There was just darkness. Like, there was nothing good about this person. That's all I knew. And then as I got older and started learning about this stuff, I was like, holy crap. No wonder why. Like, he was like the definition of probably a malignant narcissist. Like, bad. Really bad.
Right.
Like, not one single good thing about him. I told you, when he came back and apologized to me, he apologized about like the one thing that, like, out of all of the messed up things he did was like the tiniest thing. I'm like, really? That's what you feel bad about? Like, of all the things that you did to me, that's what you're apologizing to me for, like 10 years later?
Right. Probably just to test the waters to see if he could hook you back in, right? Like, I mean, really.
Well, it didn't work.
Well, good. I mean, that's positive. That's positive.
My first relationship was abusive mentally.
I mean, look.
Well, I always just thought it was an abusive relationship, honestly, Kim. And then the more I look back on it, he gaslit me constantly. He isolated me from my friends and my family.
That's the one.
He made me think all of these things about myself that weren't true, like that I know now are nowhere near true. Like, they keep you down. Because if you have the confidence to go against them, that's what you'll do.
Yeah, you're a threat. You're a threat. You're a threat to their
So
grandiose vision.
they'll put you down, and then when you're upset and you're crying, they'll be like nice to you for like a day, and then they just go right back to putting you down again.
Right. My first relationship, narcissistic relationship, and I realized far into it what had actually happened, and it was only after understanding that I had cut so much contact with family members. I had lost all the friends that I had had before. Everything was about this person, and was definitely covert. And so I was made to feel guilty for absolutely everything, whether it was my fault or not. Because how could you? I'm suffering from this, or how could you? I have to deal with this, or how could you? Because I'm doing this, this, and this. And so it really put me in that position where it's like I looked back at what was essentially the remains of all of my personal relationships that I had built up when I was a teenager in my early 20s. And looking back, I'm like, this is all on fire, and I've lost all of this. And that person is the common thread. And then when I started to realize and understand that, and then be able to stand up for myself to some degree, that's when everything just came apart. And it was a vicious split. That was a vicious person that I was with, and sure enough, did absolutely everything to trash me, to everybody that we had known and everything else. Because when you do that, when you confront and you finally start to stand your ground, you're going to experience some narcissistic rage, and there was an attempted love bomb and all that kind of stuff. But at that point, I kind of knew what it was.
They'll always try and hit you with the love bomb again.
All right, so like another show of hands, if you've ever experienced a love bomb, and if you know what that feels like, and can you recognize it now? I'm really curious if it's something where you're like, nah, this person, like this is not working for me. As a head of a martial arts school, where I've got a lot of parents coming in and kids coming in, and people want to achieve and they want to rank up and they want to win and be seen as the best one there, and so on and so forth. Before I knock some sense into them in terms of like, look, the only person you're competing with is yourself here. But I would often experience that from certain people that were trying to just get into my good graces as somebody that would give them a test and have them rank up. And sure enough, that really did, that was a great lens to see everybody with, because I knew who was there for personal gain, and who was there because they were really diligently doing the work on themselves. And those are the people that I love to work with. And the other ones, those were just destructive people.
Yes.
If anything, it was much harder on them.
Devaluation cycle. That's a good way to put it.
Right. Love bomb devaluation.
It is a cycle.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
how they keep you around. Because a lot of the time from the people on the outside, they don't understand why you would stay in that.
Right. I like
trying
hanging
to
out
think
with you
back.
guys. This is nice. This is good.
You were
'cause
so
we're getting some
worried
stuff.
about
Well, I'm always
it.
worried because it's a live
Okay,
stream.
Kevin
like,
said something a little while ago. I'm sorry, I'm behind. I'm trying to go through.
we're working on it.
That empaths, which we didn't get to yet, feel so deeply that they can't comprehend someone being so truly dark.
Yeah.
And to be honest, sometimes we're attracted to that.
Yeah, that attraction is sexy for a bit, but it's toxic.
Well, we like the
ultimately.
idea of
Yeah,
being
for
able
sure.
to change somebody.
Yeah,
I'm sure
we're
I'm not
fixers.
the only person in the world who like wants to take like the bad guy or the bad boy and like make him good.
Right. It doesn't really work that way. No.
Just find a nerd instead.
That's good.
He
Yeah.
doesn't know what to say now.
I think no. I'm trying to, because that's interesting. Just on dark traits, and seeing those dark traits in somebody and thinking that I mean, look, we are fixers in a lot of ways. You know, as INFJs, we just tend to have a little bit more of that idealistic way of wanting to do it. Like, you know,
Somebody
change the world for the better,
said-
so to speak, but you can't just change all the narcissists.
Sean wants to know, after your relationship, did you think you were the narcissist? I think we've all questioned to a degree.
Yeah, but I think if
I
you're
think that's
sitting
like
there
a
wondering if you're a
common-
narcissist, you're probably not. Like, that's usually,
Yeah.
you know, because I don't think a narcissist sits there and ponders, like, am I a narcissist?
Yeah, like feeling bad about it.
Right, like, yeah, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't say those things. No, because that's a direct reflection on your empathy, which
No,
narcissism.
but maybe the
like, doesn't have.
narcissist tried to convince you that you were the narcissist. And
Oh, for
that
sure.
is why you felt that way after.
If I had $1 for every time that narcissist in my first relationship called me a selfish person for apparently wanting to eat or
Hearing
exist.
everyone with similar
you know.
stories feels like finding a community. Thanks for sharing.
Well, you're welcome
That's what
here,
we're
and
here
we're also
for.
because you're all just sweet people. This is how it works. Are there any
Yeah.
narcissists out there in the comments? No.
Lizette says,
There
my
will be soon.
mother is a covert narc. Took me decades to realize that. I'm
Yeah.
basically a narc magnet. Been working on boundaries for the last few years. Definitely
Yeah.
check out Dr. Ramani's channel.
Yeah, good stuff on there.
I learned so much. I felt like she really empowered me with knowledge.
Right. Yeah, so a couple of those close relationships for me
Yeah, we
were
want to see the
narcissistic
best in everyone.
in nature. We do. And then there were others where I noticed somebody, and thank you very much.
This is cute.
I love this alien community too.
So many people here talking about their stories. I am so proud of you all for making it out on the other side. Sending love to any of you who are still dealing with a narcissist. You can do it.
100% yes.
That is another reason why I keep talking about Dr. Ramani, because that's what she does. She's a therapist, so she helps people who are in narcissistic relationships. Because there are certain ones you can't get out of. Like we talked about, what do you do when you have a narcissistic parent? Like, thankfully, none of us do here between the two of us, so we don't know what that's like, but you have that need to still want to feel close to that person, so it can be a struggle.
Right.
Because, you know, everybody always says just cut them off. That's the only way that you can
Right.
really do it. Is
Everybody
to
says
go
just
no
no contact, period.
Yeah. But sometimes you can't do that. And like you
Right.
said, if it's somebody you work for or work
Right.
with,
Right.
or if it's somebody in your family, like that's not an easy thing to do.
Right. And hey, in the work relationship I had with that particular narcissistic person, and just to give you an idea of how, like, what level of narcissism we're talking.
I love this alien community.
I don't know. It's so maybe you are not familiar with how like typical American traditional degrees go in martial arts, and so there's degrees to a black belt, and typically to get to the higher degrees, it's just years and years of training in between your ranks. So I stopped at a 4th degree because at that point I'm just like, there's a lot there. There's a lot of knowledge. I can share a lot and I can help a lot of people along. So then I've been a 4th degree black belt since, and that's what I am. This particular person that I was working with made it to 7th through all kinds of personal relationships and things with the owners of various schools, at which point he basically started his own thing and called himself a 10th degree black belt, which really is like a super grandmaster, and it's not something you should be promoting yourself to. If you're promoting yourself to some kind of a high degree like that, that tends to be a narcissistic trait, is all I'm saying. So things along those lines are those things to look out for. You know, what is that person doing? What are they, if you constantly see them putting themselves on a pedestal and knocking you down lower, there's one of those signs, right? It's a big time sign. And as well as all the manipulation and everything else.
Mia Mevo says narcissists can never change, so we have to change.
Yeah.
YouTube saved me from the narc versus empath pattern.
Yep, 100%. There's a lot of information out there.
When I
for
told
sure.
my parents about the abuse they caused me, they said that's just part of life, no empathy whatsoever.
Right, lack of empathy. There's another one of those signs and signals. where they have a difficult time putting themselves in your shoes and understanding things from your point of
Elysian
view.
says it's lonely when you have to go no contact with people in your family, but you have to learn how to recreate your family and learn that family isn't always blood.
That's very true.
Very true.
Very true.
Surround yourself with good people, and you can decide who your family is. If you have a bond with somebody and you love each other, that's your family.
Again, remember that your FE is taking over when it's something like that, where you're deciding on no contact. And where you start to feel guilty or you start to feel bad. Like, oh, if I cut this person out, then what if they do need something from me, and so on and so forth. And that really is just that roped in. So like, you really have to know, you've got to be very certain that it is a toxic narcissistic relationship, and attempt to set those boundaries. And if those boundaries are just consistently crossed, well, now you know where you stand.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who's always running roughshod over your boundaries is going to run over anything that you try to put in front of them. So at what point are you just
have to be
sitting in a toxic relationship? You know?
Firm in your boundaries that nobody can shake you. Like nobody.
Right.
Nobody. And don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, don't
feel bad about it.
Don't hit on the self-doubt.
People should, if anything, have more respect for you for being so firm in your convictions that you refuse to budge on those things.
100%.
Kevin said something interesting. I think I've heard of this before. If you can't go
Gray
no
rock.
contact, gray rock, meaning that you just are in the background, bored. Just keep it simple. It's like when you respond back to somebody who wrote you like a whole paragraph on via text.
You did that to me once.
Okay, that's
twice, 5 times.
Never mind. That's just like when I'm tired.
You're like, yeah, I
or
get
like
it already.
low-key annoyed because I don't really type it.
That's perfect. That's good. No, gray rock is a thing, right? Just kind of like put on the rock helmet and just be like, nope, I'm just a stone. You know, no emotion, no nothing. I'm boring.
Which is really difficult for us to do, but once you learn how to do it, you'd be surprised how easy it is to put that on. Because when you start viewing that as your way of protecting yourself, you have to love yourself, man. Like, you have to want to protect yourself, like, so passionately and so fiercely that you're not going to feel bad about it.
And a narcissist will comment on your gray rock and will say things like, good talk.
Yeah. Oh, that's
they'll say things like, yeah.
When I don't answer your text for 20 minutes
talk.
And I get the good talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good talk.
To just try and make you feel guilty, like for being a rock. Like whatever they can do to get you to draw out of that is what they're going to hammer on. They're going to say those words. They want to trigger you.
Okay.
They want to trigger. Okay. You gotta know what that means.
Good talk. Okay.
Yeah. You couldn't even write the A and the Y on okay.
Hope
you just
you
had to
have
do
a good weekend.
That's good too.
Not to mention, cutting off a narcissist can even put you in a physical danger. It is a lot more than just deciding to leave. That's
I had to cut out somebody who was a black belt for 40 years. Like, yeah, there was a little bit of nervous energy going on there. But also, once I did that, and in my case, I sent a 5-page letter and basically explained non-emotional language. These are the reasons that I'm splitting from you. And these are the reasons that this business relationship is over. I got silence in return. Nothing. Just him reaching out to people that I knew saying, don't talk to him under any circumstances. You're not permitted to speak to somebody else. Even though I was friends with these people. And he said, you are not allowed to be friends anymore. Because of, what he said and so on and so forth. I'm not sharing anything I said, of course, because I made decent points, because that's what I did.
A1 with the gray rock.
So yeah, I know. I'm gonna gray rock. Is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit here and align my chakras and gray rock myself. And
I had an interesting experience with a girl that I was really, really close with, best friends for years, and the relationship became so toxic that I got to the point where I needed no contact. Like, I just needed her to not be part of my life. When I tell you that I've never had to break up with a person before in my life like this before. No, seriously, I was scared, not because of she was half my size. I wasn't physically scared of her, but just scared in the sense that she was crazy.
And I
didn't know what she was gonna try to do. She would put me on blast all over social media. Not that there was anything to put me on blast for, but she could have just made up a bunch of lies and people would have had no reason to not believe her, because that's how narcissists are. Everybody freaking loves them. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you end up feeling like the crazy person who's trying to tell people, like, no, there's something wrong with this person. They're like, what do you mean? I love them. They're so great. Like, I'm like, you hung out with them for 20 minutes.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Like, I literally had to cut this girl off multiple times. Like, she wouldn't go away. She still won't go away. Like, all these years later, she still talks about me on social media. Like, people send me screenshots all the time now.
Trying to draw you in.
Yeah, literally still trying to get me back in.
Sarah, I know meditating isn't like that. I'm just having some fun.
No.
That's fine. That's okay.
We're really bad at meditating.
Yes, I'm exceedingly bad at meditating. No, that's fine.
Worst relationship, but it teaches you so much about yourself. Wouldn't be who I am today if I hadn't gone through the manipulation and emotional abuse. Anger turned to compassion towards the individual. Joseph, you're not wrong. There is power in just feeling sorry for somebody and not getting angry about it.
Feeling sorry, but maintaining your boundary.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look.
Well, you just see something and you're like, that's really sad that that person is like that. I feel sorry for them, but it's not my problem.
No, and there's nothing you can do to really help anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just going to get you roped in.
I learned a whole hell of a lot. That's
certain
for sure.
people can be fixed. Certain people can come out of a dark emotional place with
if they want to.
If they want
on
to,
their own, not because you did it.
That's the thing, that they're gonna know that they're there, you know, and they're gonna know that they need to get out of there. But certain dark people, it's just where it's just dark like that. There's nothing you can do, and the more you try, the more they're just gonna start pulling you in and pulling you along. Really, Al Pacino is an INFJ. That's pretty cool.
Charlotte's trying to figure out if her dad is a narcissist. He gaslights, but she's not sure. If he just can't understand her emotions. It's really hard with like that generation. I think too. They tend to be a little bit more
dynamics.
Cold.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
That's why it's hard to say with just one behavior. That's why it's important to understand all of the behavior patterns of narcissists so that you can start to kind of look for those things, because you don't want to jump to conclusions.
20-something me was so different than 40-something me. The key is learning through our mistakes. 100%, Kim. Yep, absolutely. Take those experiences and try to apply them and not make that same mistake again. You know, if you see those behaviors and you really have an honest look and know, like, look, I made mistakes, right? My first narcissistic relationship, my first relationship that happened to be with a narcissist, that one, it was only well after the fact that I started really looking at it and saying, like, okay, these were all of my missteps. An inability to set boundaries, wanting to smooth over everything, because I was afraid that I was going to lose something, but then ultimately there was nothing to lose, which is why I was able to walk away. That is really difficult. It's difficult to manage that, and to manage that fear that you're going to be losing out on something, or you're afraid of the result of something. And so you tend to kind of wash your boundaries a little bit, or move them just ever so slightly. But as soon as, you know, give an inch, take a yard kind of thing, or give a centimeter, take a meter. I don't know. Something like that.
Oh, there was something I was
Give a furlong,
say.
take 4 furlongs.
Hoovering.
How long is a furlong?
What is hoovering? I've
It's
heard
vacuuming.
that. No, it's a psychological term. I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm not really sure on that one. All right, unpredictable people that are frightening and dangerous. Well, yeah.
Mary said in response to Charlotte that the label doesn't matter if the person doesn't have empathy towards you. It doesn't matter if they're a narcissist or not. It's still a crappy thing.
Really difficult to navigate a personal dynamic with somebody that doesn't have empathy. And for some people, there's certain things. That lack of empathy is a certain trait sometimes that can crop up. It's something that people will have a difficult time with, but you'll know if that's a narcissistic thing, or if that is just somebody that has a difficult time seeing things through another lens. You know, I've had to work with kids that have been on the spectrum in any number of ways, and a lot of times somebody that may have tendencies towards like Asperger's or something like that, they would have a harder time with empathy, you know, and a harder time seeing things through a certain lens. And I actually really enjoyed working with them because just knowing how they see the world and how I could communicate with them better. I'll have to move back. Was really helpful for me, and it helped me to work with others in a much better way. So not everybody that lacks empathy is straight up just a narcissist, but a lot of times where it's that deliberate not caring, and I think that's what makes the difference with it.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of that. Hoovering is when they regroup and then like love bomb you again to draw you back in.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, pulling you back in and all that kind of stuff.
Like a vacuum.
Like a, right.
That's what they call it in England. They just call it a Hoover.
A Hoover?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I use the word hoovering
They'll
all
be
the
like,
time.
this room needs a Hoover.
Like, we just hoovered up some breakfast sandwiches not long ago.
Oh my god, we had breakfast
Really
burritos.
good.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Kim said something nice
talking
here.
about food.
Or not nice, anyway, something.
Having a hard time setting boundaries with mom and not feeling horrible about it. Yeah, I want her to change, but I know she won't. And it's like mourning a loss. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say before. When it's family, it's really hard because it is.
Yeah.
It's depressing. It is a lot like mourning the loss of a loved one, because it changes. Right. As soon as you have that realization about somebody, you can't turn it off.
Yeah,
and
it's always there.
It's impossible to see them the way that you used to.
Well,
I remember feeling that way about my grandmother because I grew up living with her. We lived in like a 2-family house. So I literally grew up with my grandma and my grandpa living downstairs from me. So I was very, very close to them.
Right.
So I spent a lot of time with her, and unfortunately picked up on a lot of her behavior patterns of like manipulation and things like that. And just thought that that was normal because I was around it so much. And I remember coming to the realization when I was a teenager that that wasn't normal and that's not how you should treat people. It literally broke my heart. Like, I cried over it for years, thinking like I lost my grandmother that I was close to my whole entire life. Because I saw her as this person for 18 years. And then when you have that realization that they're not that person, you very much are mourning the loss of somebody.
right.
It's hard.
And think about it this way too. As an INFJ, right? Your dominant function is introverted intuition, and so you are seeing and putting together the puzzle pieces of whatever this person is being somewhat toxic. Those traits are being stored in here, whether you really realize it or not, because it's a subconscious process. Until you get that realization, and all those puzzle pieces all of a sudden fit, and your intuition's like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you that this whole time.
Yeah.
But you haven't been listening to me.
It's sad
And then when
almost
it
how
does
much
all
it makes
fit,
sense. It just like
Then it all makes sense. It clicks, all the puzzle
You're
pieces
just
fit.
like, wow, I'm
and
an
you're
idiot.
like, dang it, that person's that person, and I was just a moron this whole time.
Yeah.
I think in any situation where I had a close friendship or a close relationship with somebody that had narcissistic traits, what I would tend to do is just be really mindful of not giving a lot of personal details about things. So not spilling everything that is a current event in my life to that person, because I know that they're going to say something or use it in some way or throw it back at me in some way. So it wasn't necessarily gray rock. It wasn't cutting off contact. It was just managing how much information how much I was letting that person into my life. And that really is the boundary.
This is a good one.
Give me-
Bo has a question. Is a narcissist able to apologize for their behavior, or does he or she apologize in public to keep up their good image but not in the home?
That's really good, and that pretty much just hits it. I mean, that question answers the question.
Yes.
I think absolutely.
They will 100% apologize,
They-
but they just don't mean it.
Yep,
They're just doing
they'll
it
apologize.
to placate you.
Right, to rope you back in. Because they're seeing that you observed something that requires an apology. They don't understand the empathy, so they're going to do the socially acceptable thing and say, well, I guess this means I need to apologize in order to get this person back under my control, so they will. Or they'll do the public apology and make it some kind of a grand gesture. That sounds like a communal narcissist type of
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
you know, to say, look at me,
how nice
how great I am
yeah.
apologizing because I did this thing, and so on and so forth.
We all mess up.
Right. Like that guy. That guy.
Kosher keeps on asking about if we are manipulative because we like to fix people. But we're disagreeing. Mary says, I don't see it as manipulation. I don't fix people who don't want to be helped. And I'm aware of my limitations.
It's just the high empathy when you see somebody that's struggling.
You're not like forcing, you know, somebody.
You want to help somebody
that struggles. I may like gently
struggles.
suggest that like I prefer this T-shirt over the other one.
Manipulative.
I don't think that's manipulative.
Not wearing the clown suit, okay? I know you really like it. You're not doing
it. I
it.
just like to squish the nose.
Right. Okay, that was good.
Your friend here says, hey, Davy boy.
Oh, hey, what's going on? That's good.
Oh, we want to see the best in others. Yes, that's part of the problem, naturally. For sure.
Right.
Somebody wanted to know if we could do a live stream on trusting our intuition. I mean, we could talk about that a little bit now because I think that's a really important part of protecting yourself from the narcissist, because now you know what behaviors to look for. Hopefully we've sort of kind of explained some of that to you, and if not, you'll have some of the resources that will provide for you as well.
Right.
To do some of that research yourself. So once you're equipped with that information, you have to just learn how to trust your intuition when you feel like something is off with a person, because it's not always going to be clear whether or not somebody is gaslighting you or love bombing you, especially if they're a covert narcissist. You're gonna be so confused. You're gonna be up all night trying to put those puzzle pieces together because what they say and what they do just don't add up, and it's never gonna add up. And one day they act this way, the other day they act another way. Like none of it's ever gonna make sense to you.
A lot of this is a fear too. You have this attachment to a person, and you're afraid of that attachment being gone.
Yeah.
So there's an element of fear that's in it. So when your intuition is telling you, hey, something ain't right, and you don't want to believe it, right? Your FI, which is in your shadow stack, which is typically not very strong for an INFJ, right? How you are, your internal conviction as far as how you feel about a certain thing, and it's very critical a lot of times. That's what's called your critical parent, right? You know, and it's playing tricks on you as far as maybe you're feeling this way, maybe you're feeling this way, maybe you don't know how to feel about something else, and it makes it so it's hard to listen to your intuition at times. But if you just try and use that logic, it's so important for INFJs to build logical skills, because we can be very emotional, we can be very idealistic, and we want to just run over everything and save the world, or just have this, you know, this kind of world-altering sort of view that we may have. That listening to your intuition becomes really, really critical in such a way of like, okay, understanding that, no, you can't fix everybody, and some people are too dark for you to go ahead and get near without getting burned. So listening to that and putting that aside, putting your internal critic aside, is really, really key. And that's why I think those logical skills are really important. It's important, people. It's important.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that I don't think it's a great term to say like you're fixing somebody, because that, I guess, you know, could be seen as a form of manipulation if you're going to an extreme to try and change somebody, because to you think you're fixing them, but there may not be anything wrong. There's a difference between wanting to nurture somebody and help guide somebody in the right direction,
and wanting to change them to what you think they should be.
Than wanting to change them.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that maybe if we stop using like the term fixing, or you're trying to fix somebody, because that's implying that like you think there's something wrong when there might not be.
Support is a better word. You want to support somebody on their own path.
So no, it's not manipulative to try and help somebody.
You can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped, though.
Exactly. Right. That's what I was literally just gonna say. It depends on the person too, because if they're asking you for your help, then like by all means.
Right. Meet me in the middle, says the unjust man. He gives a step back. Meet me in the middle. Yeah, I've fallen prey to that one.
Yes,
for sure.
You're just helping and supporting. You have
all
to
these
do
words
it for
for it.
growth. I agree.
Moving the
Nurture,
goalposts.
encourage, not fix.
Right.
Yeah.
Nurture, encourage, support.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry. Snowify says, sorry if this has already been asked
Okay.
because they were late. That's fine.
Yeah.
It hasn't been asked yet. What is the best way to go about leaving a relationship with a narcissist that you feel trapped in? I first need to understand like what type of relationship it is. I feel
Right.
like
I'm
before you
guessing
can
that's-
really
I'm guessing that would be romantic relationship is probably
Probably.
most common, right?
probably
Yeah, and feeling trapped and having to get out of that. Oh man.
that's a product of your own doing though. To a degree, you're the one who's allowing yourself to
feel
continue
trapped.
to feel trapped
Yeah,
because
why do you
they
feel
keep
trapped?
putting you down and you keep allowing them to keep you down.
Listen, taking a big step to alter your life, whether it is removing yourself from a very close personal relationship that there's lots of ties to and lots of roots in, or altering the relationship in terms of where you are, having to move. I mean, these are all things that I've been through numerous times, like throughout my entire life. It's really scary, okay? It's really scary taking that step, thinking there's no way I can do this because there's so much stacked up against me and I can't. Knowing that you have people around you and making sure you have some people around you that can offer that kind of healthy support is really key. And also knowing that there comes a time where you have to do something that is for yourself in your own best interest. You know when you're an unhealthy person. And if you're in a relationship and that relationship, you know it's toxic and you know it's unhealthy, how are you able to be at your best for anyone else in your life if you are constantly put down and in something that's really, really difficult? So where does the term trapped come from? And where does that fear of detachment come from? And I think once you get past that and understand that it is not something that you really need to be afraid of.
Mary made a good point though, and Dr. Ramani talks about that too. Definitely, Snow, if I check out Dr. Ramani,
Yeah.
she talks about this in great detail, that you can sometimes be trapped due to like financial situations,
Right,
living
100%.
situations. A lot of women find themselves in abusive relationships that they can't get out of because they don't have any job, they're taking care of their kids, they don't have a means to live on their own, they might not have family nearby to go and live with. Like there's lots of things that can have you trapped in a relationship that's not necessarily in your control.
See, my relationship, I was trapped in the opposite way, in that I was working, at some weeks like a 60-hour shift. I was working 10-hour days and stuff like that, and I'd be on the bus first thing in the morning, and I'd be working all day and coming back. And it was my job to make food. It was my job to do all the things to make the money and so on and so forth. And so the manipulation for me was, well, she was saying like I can't go out, I'm afraid of people, or I'm afraid of locations or whatever else. Meanwhile, going out with friends was never any kind of an issue, or going to a party was never kind of an issue. It was going to work that was the issue. And so, I was so young, and at that time, I felt like that was all I had. I couldn't leave. And so I was stuck working that job. I didn't want to work that job, but if I didn't make money, I wouldn't eat either. Neither of us would eat. And so I felt trapped in those terms, where it was like, it was almost really parasitic in a way of just, draining everything, all of my energy and all of my income and everything else in order to support this and support a person that just wanted an easier ride, essentially. Until I got to the point where I was so angered by it enough that like I don't care if you're sleeping in a box, I have to go. Like
Yeah.
this is toxic and this is destroying me, and it's destroyed all of my family relationships and everything else.
I pretty much
I gotta head
ghosted
out.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much.
I didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Did he rage or anything like that?
Oh,
or no?
for sure.
Yeah, see, the rage is something that's gonna happen.
But he was on the
Yeah.
other side of the country at that point, so I was just
Oh,
like,
that's
not
really-
my problem
That
anymore.
happened to me too.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
He moved
Yeah.
to the other side of the country, and I was like, well, I guess this is over. He was
Yeah.
like, no, you're coming with me. I'm like, I am not moving to another state with you. Are you out of your mind? He
Yeah.
would have kept me trapped in his psycho bubble forever.
Psycho bubble.
It is shown statistically that narcissists get I can't talk.
Narcissists get worse as they age. What are your thoughts?
I think everybody gets worse as they age.
Yeah.
My grandfather has gotten significantly more racist with age. Because you just they don't care
They
anymore.
really don't care. No,
I
anything
mean,
will come
he's
out.
like 98 years old.
Yeah, like,
you know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna be dead soon anyway. These people are just a bunch of, whatever. Right. Yeah, that's
I'm just saying,
That's
like,
funny.
yes, I'm sure statistically
Right.
that they get worse with age because they just stop caring.
My gosh.
Whatever little care they do have, they lose completely.
Yes, I've seen a lot of INFJs, including myself, offer advice without asking them if they want it.
Yeah.
That is something I really try not to do. I try to just let somebody speak.
We should all just not do that regardless
We
of
just
type.
really
Yeah.
just shut up and just be like, nope, I'm not gonna I know you want to. I know you want to offer like all the insight and advice and all those kinds of things. And it's really difficult. Look, there's something that I came across recently and I thought this was really, really helpful if you have a hard time with that offering advice, which is if somebody's in some kind of distress or some kind of anxiety, you ask them, do you want advice or do you want comfort? Do you want a solution or do you need just somebody to listen to you? And I think if you ask the person that, and if they say, help me solve this, then I can speak from that point of view. If you ask them that and they said, I don't want your advice, I just need to vent. Well, now you know your role, and it makes it easier to be a good friend that way. I find that really helps. Do you want a solution to this because I can help you with a solution? Or do you just want some compassion right now? Because I can totally do that too.
Mary says, I try to say, I just need to vent when I don't want advice.
Yeah, exactly.
I just need
right.
I just need to get it off my chest. I feel like we do that all the time. Sometimes I'm like, listen, I can't offer you any advice, but like, if you just need to talk about it,
just need to rant.
just need to ramble,
right,
go on.
Sometimes I just need to put on the lake house and cry. It's okay.
I love that that's your go-to movie reference
totally my
now.
go-to movie.
I can't believe you never watched it.
No, it's so good.
He loves Keanu Reeves, right?
I do.
And
I
I was
got,
like,
yeah.
and I love Sandra Bullock. I feel like we literally talk about this in every single
Every
video
time.
that we do
Every
together. So I'm like, how have you never seen The Lake House?
I know.
I was like, be prepared to cry,
It's
but
good. Yeah.
it's not a sad ending.
I came
Just
close to crying in
emotional.
John Wick too. That's how much I love Keanu. Truly. I cried for the dog. The dog was sad. All right, so here we go. Let's see. Yeah, 100%. Asking, do you want my help or do you want me to listen? Yes, 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 yes. I think it's really important to do that so you're not overstepping your bounds, or
Keanu
anything
Reeves
else.
is an INFP. I mean, he is definitely a really good guy.
I could definitely see
We
him.
all know that.
I could see
I
him
feel like
on
every
INFP.
New Yorker knows that Keanu Reeves is a good
There's
guy.
there's all kinds of
Because
videos
you
of him
see
getting
him
up for
all
old
the
ladies on
time.
the subway
I
and
know,
stuff.
and you,
like,
you'll see him just chilling in the city. He looks like a normal person
Well,
because
yeah.
he's just always got a beard. He does. Like,
That's
so
so
he just
weird.
no, but and he wears regular clothes. So like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
literally just looks like another person walking around in Manhattan. Like
Right.
even if you had something crazy going on walking around in Manhattan, people are still gonna ignore
no,
you
the
and
dude's
not
worth
notice
hundreds
you
of millions, and he
anyway.
takes the subway and he gets up for other people. Like that's a good dude. So
Although
that's a
I don't
good
recommend
dude. He's nice
anybody
and quiet.
taking the subway at this point in time. It's like a whole nother world down there.
Yeah, plus it's really hot and gross. Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's really hot. Yeah, it's like,
Oh,
I
it's
just
like
have to go
nothing
8 levels
smells
down.
quite like the subway in the
No.
middle of the summer.
That's really. Bleh. I'm not hungry.
Yes, we love Keanu. He does so much and doesn't try to get credit for it. How does the conversation always turn into Keanu?
Yeah,
I feel like we
such
need
a
to go
dude
back
crush on
to
Keanu.
like how to create boundaries. Like how do we protect ourselves? We talked about how to identify a narcissist, right? We
Right.
understand how to identify a narcissist. Now we have to talk about like, how to protect yourself from it.
How do you protect yourself? So making sure that you understand what it is you want your life to look like, what it is you want your personal relationships to look like, and really listening when you feel that, look, you're an INFJ, you've got intuition. You know when something is awry and you feel that pit in your stomach, and you may not be okay for a day or 2 days, knowing that something is wrong, knowing that something is very, very wrong, but not really being able to put your finger on it. when you finally come to that realization,
Right.
you tend to know.
Trust your gut.
Absolutely. You tend to know, like, yeah, it was that. And it may not be something that you want to hear. You may want a relationship to work.
Usually is the opposite.
Yeah, but your intuition's like, nah, dude, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
And you're like, but please. And it's like, it's not up to me. Like, it's just not going to work. And so you just you tend to know. So listening to that and then basically saying, oh, look, this is my boundary.
Yeah.
If you want to do
Somebody's
something.
asking about compassion fatigue, and that's how you do it as well. Boundaries. Knowing your limits.
There are people that are just straight up emotional vampires out there.
Yeah, they're just suck the life out
the
of you.
The more emotion you pour towards them,
they don't have to be narcissists.
It's a bottomless pit, is what it is, right? It's a bottomless pit of just using that and feeding off of
What
that.
about how to recover from the narc relationship, girl? That takes a lot of time and a lot of self-love. Like a lot of discovering who you are, what really makes you happy, and just surrounding yourself with people who love you and accept you for who you are and aren't trying to change you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Am I missing anything?
No, I think that really hits the nail on the head. A narcissist, when you're in with a narcissist, they're going to take a piece of your identity.
You need a lot of love after that.
Right, but they're going to take a piece of your identity and focus on that and disallow it to a degree. You know, maybe it's something that you really love. You love painting or whatever else, and they'll be saying that it's like stupid and it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this. We're not trying to do that. We don't have room for your painting here. All
Love
that kind
yourself,
of stuff, right?
Respect yourself.
And so understanding that no, like I need that for myself to be me and to be okay. That's a boundary. Like, I'm sorry, you're crossing it. You know, and that's that. And if somebody really loves you, they're going to be like, all right, this is cool.
They're going to respect that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
if anything, somebody who really loves you is going to respect you more for having those boundaries and for being so firm in those things. I mean, you've said that about me since I've known you.
Yeah. Well, you're a principled person.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're devoted to something in your life that's really important.
I'm fine. Just I feel really shiny. No, keep going. You're good.
Okay. I don't even know what I was saying. But yes, when something's
the
really
do not disturb feature on your phone.
When something's really important to somebody else, and you're with that person in a relationship with that person, or whatever.
They're in my purse.
It's okay. I'm not going to go do that. What do I think of Jordan Peterson? I love listening to Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, people keep talking about him. Who is he?
Jordan Peterson.
Someone said he's an INFJ, and then everyone's like, no, somebody else said he's an INFP.
Jordan Peterson's not really big on MBTI. He does more of like the big five traits. You know, and he's a really, really interesting guy.
You told me about him.
Yep. College professor, I believe in Canada. I don't know if he's in like Toronto or where.
Right.
But became very famous for.
Because we were talking about like who we actually like
to
listen to.
His outlook on different things. He's a fascinating guy, for sure.
Who's detrimental to the INFJ community and who's actually helpful?
Jordan Peterson is very polarizing because of his opinions on different things, and talk about somebody who's just a very principled person. He will state his argument and make the case. There's all kinds of videos of him really destroying people online that are trying to pigeonhole him a certain way. So a really, really fascinating guy. Agree or disagree with him, he's very interesting. He's very astute, and so you can get a lot out of his lectures on different personality traits, on sociopaths and stuff like that. So just a lot of great information. I think he's a great guy. To me, he's just a really fascinating guy and really interesting to listen to. So there's that. Yeah, I
just thought this was funny because
never
I'm sure she means like books about narcissists, but
any book recommendations? Yes, my book is right here. I'm never gonna miss that. It's right here and it's on Amazon and you can get it. And there's the main character's an INFJ and there's somebody who's probably a narcissist in there too.
Narcissist stuff? Then no, I don't know any books. But like I said, there's a bunch of YouTube channels that we recommend.
Amazon and Kindle. Please.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay, so there's that. That was the advertisement. I had to do the ad. That's good.
Let's see.
Yeah, a lot of times. Right, say what you want about him.
Dr. Romney has a book. There you go.
Okay.
I just prefer
For
listen.
that.
I like to listen while I'm cleaning or like doing plant chores and stuff. I like to listen
Yeah, just have
to
it on.
like stuff, you know what I mean, instead of reading. It took me so long to get through this purely just because I kept falling asleep, because reading puts me to sleep.
Right.
Like, if it was, honestly though, if it was you reading it to me, I probably would fall asleep too.
I don't know if that's good or bad. People say that like they put on my videos to fall asleep to. And
No,
I'm like,
you're
I don't know.
relaxing. It's
Is that it?
nice. Excellent book, David.
Well,
Stacy
thank
says.
you,
I
Stacey. I
enjoyed it
appreciate
very
it.
much and looking forward to the next one. Me too.
Me too.
I'm excited.
Somebody
you guys
should write
are
it.
gonna get mad about it, but it's fine.
Probably. I'm gonna trigger all y'all with the second book. Yeah, that's a thing. It's fine.
Yes, he's gonna make it an audiobook. Eventually.
Okay, so listen. I've been wanting to do that, and I have like the walls are a little thin here, and so sometimes like as soon as I sit down to record something, I'll hear pots and pans banging and stuff like that.
Plan to
You need to rent a studio.
for a couple of days, yeah, and just get it done. Is it not worth it though? Wouldn't you guys listen to it? I would.
Would you listen to me talk for 10 hours? Like, what's wrong
I
with
was
you?
saying that you should put it.
I mean, it's a
Try
good
and
story.
find
though.
an
It's a good story.
an illustrator and have it turned into a graphic
Novel. Yeah, I can draw. I can do like a crayon. I could draw my
You can
own
barely
story.
even write. Your handwriting is
I
garbage.
know, it's really bad.
It's absolute trash.
I don't even know. I wrote this not that long ago.
I don't.
and
That's
even
why
know what
I
it
don't
says.
even know what that
Yeah, it's
says.
a thing. Anyway.
Okay, I thought that
narcissism.
you might like this comment by Bo.
I saw an interview with Amy Winehouse from the time before she was famous. She seemed INFJ to me, feeling intuitive, shy, and scared of feeling. Yeah, you know.
He really likes Amy Winehouse.
I love Amy Winehouse. I do. Still listen to her all the time, and that to me.
Oh my gosh, 10 years already?
So that to me was a great talent loss. Wow,
Yeah.
10 years.
That is so sad.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, that one hurt, man. That one hurt
Ooh,
for
Kim
sure.
says a narcissistic villain is somebody you would write really well, just saying.
I mean, Kim, I thought about the concept of narcissism and just like what that would look like, but every time I think about it in kind of a hilarious way. So I'm not sure if it's super appropriate, but like I'll get there. It's fine. Yeah. You know who you are gonna meet? Karma. You're gonna meet Karma. That should be good.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I mean, anything else that this is such a huge topic, right? There is so much to go into as far as narcissism and the dynamics with INFJs. I think a lot of what it comes down to is understanding, trusting your intuition. When you know something's awry, something's awry. It's setting your boundaries and making
Okay,
sure
but now
that.
I'm triggered. Now I'm worried that the next book is going to destroy me. I cried the first time.
Pretty triggered.
I cried even like
Triggered the hell out of
literally.
me. Yeah.
You sent me like, oh my god, like over a year ago now, right? You sent me like the
Yeah,
first couple
you
of
did some
chapters
beta
to
reading.
read.
Yep.
And I was already crying just at those. I was like, why are you doing this to me?
That's how you know it's a good story. A good story's got to hurt a little bit. I'm just saying, right? All right, so here we go.
Let's see.
Let's see. Graphic novel, great idea. Okay, well, I mean, it's something
Right?
to work on. Yep.
Well, you're just really good with the imagery. So and we're such visual people that I feel like it's
Right.
hard. That's why everybody loves chapter whatever.
21.
21.
That's the one.
If you're going to buy this book and read it, at least read chapter 21.
Right. More streams. Well, we got to work on more streams for sure. Best partner for an INFJ. Just somebody that you like. And that's
Somebody
not a
who
narcissist.
understands you.
That's
as long
really
as they
important.
understand
Yeah.
you, that is all that matters. That is such a common question. People want, like, with the zodiac signs.
No,
they want to
no,
know,
no.
like, the compatibility.
Can't do
Like,
it.
but everybody
Yeah.
is so different. Like, I'm an INFJ, you're an INFJ, but we're two totally different people.
Right.
We just also happen to like each other.
Right.
So, like, that worked out.
Again, like your cogs, right? Your cognitive function, like the gears that are in there, are the same. Like intuition is picking everything up, it's feeding it into your extroverted feeling, et cetera, et cetera.
I do like
But you're
the
a different
good
person.
ENFJ.
That's yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
The ENFJs
INFPs.
are wonderful.
I like too because they're just like a little bit like more.
They're like an INFJ, but like a little, just
They
like
make
can
a
kind of
little
go
bit
with the
more
flow a little bit
sense.
more. Yeah, exactly. Right. But there is no.
I have a hard time with anybody who doesn't have either an N or an F. I think the biggest struggle
It's the
is
ST.
is the T. Usually,
Right.
if there's a T there, I think that they have a really hard time understanding us.
Look, here's the thing. Here's what's great about you being an INFJ, right? You have an ability to read people. You have an ability to relate to people. You can find something in any type to be able to relate to. Or at least, if you understand yourself and how you see things, you can understand how they are seeing the world too. Educate yourself on the other types, right? And know what those different cognitive functions look like at different places within a stack. And I think that's really important. So it allowed me to be able to work with somebody who was a very high, who had very high introverted thinking, right? Really high TI.
Everybody loves ENFPs.
Yeah, of course. Of course. So it allows you to work with other people. So there is no right or wrong as far as a personal relationship or as somebody is a best friend or in a relationship with. You can't just say, well, you're this type, so you match with this type, because everything's on a scale anyway. Like you may be 50% introverted or 90% introverted. That is going to change how you interact with people, regardless of the type.
It doesn't really even matter.
Just find somebody that's cool.
Understands that you need to be alone sometimes. Like
find somebody that
isn't going to take it personal.
Okay with you getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to raid the fridge.
It's like that, I say
That's
all
the
the
good
time,
person.
like, it's that NF combination in the middle for me. It doesn't matter so much, like, what's on the ends.
Right.
It's that NF combination that I find if those people tend to be empaths as well. So it's like you just have a deeper level of understanding of each other that you don't find with other people. And it doesn't mean you can't be friends with people who have an S and a T there.
Right.
But you might not necessarily have that like deeper bond or that deeper connection or that feeling of connectedness that you have with somebody. Because we all have friends that like, we're friends, whatever, but it might be a little bit more surface level.
Right. Real quick, to answer your question, where can you find video examples of narcissists in action? There are a lot of channels where people are interviewing narcissists. There's one,
Well,
I wish I knew.
They are, and they're literally
name.
just talking about what it's like
Well,
to
no,
be like
there's one where
sociopathic, narcissist, and all these things.
There's one where there's this guy who is a narcissist who interviews narcissists, and that one is just really weird to watch, but also kind of fascinating in a lot of ways. Because they both kind of admit it too. They're like, "Yeah, we're narcissists. This is great. Let's talk. Let's talk about ourselves." So there's
it's
that.
weird.
It is a little weird.
Yeah.
It is a little weird.
I thought that was funny.
What's that?
People make up MBTI. MBTI doesn't make up people.
That's true. That is very true.
I get along with anybody who cares about other people.
So just to start to wrap this up, because we've been at this for a while.
In an hour and a half.
Some things that you guys would like to see, whether it's further live streams or further content, please throw your suggestions in there. If you want to see INFJ relationship-oriented stuff, I really just wish a whole bunch of people would be like, I want to know more about your book. It's fine.
I was going to do so much today, but I'm going to end up Googling a bunch of stuff because of this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
So sorry.
Busted your productivity.
We all go down that rabbit hole eventually.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Yeah.
I've never felt more equipped
Empowered,
to like
so to speak.
handle it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know right away.
Just
as
listen.
soon as I am around certain behaviors, I'm like, nope. I even got into a fight with my cousins. My cousin's like ex's mom.
Right.
Because she was my cousin's ex's mom.
Yeah.
Because she was going there to go pick up her kid.
Right.
And straight up was gaslighting her right in front of my face. And I was like, no, not happening in front of me. No, sorry, lady. I don't care how mad you want to get at me about getting involved, but it's not happening. Because I'm so protective over the people that I care about. And I was like, nope.
Right.
No.
And that's the thing, right? Having the convictions and calling it out.
She was literally trying to tell her in front of me that like, oh no, you knew. And it's like, no, she didn't.
Right.
Like, no, you didn't.
Right.
Nobody told her.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, but we told you. No, you didn't, crazy lady. Go sit down somewhere, please, and just shush.
Kim, yep, I'll make that happen.
I get a little triggered.
It's going to be a thing. It's very true.
What?
That's okay.
I get really protective over the people that I care about.
Well, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Like,
that's
that's
good.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm empowered to protect myself and others too. That's part of the reason why, like, I wanted to do this live stream so badly, because I feel like even if I help empower one person today.
Right.
Like, we've done something good.
No, for sure. Yeah. No, and I hope this helped to some degree. You know, and thank you
Talking
guys.
more in
Like,
depth on your character development and or whatever else you care to share regarding your book.
yeah,
I was sad when it was over.
It's really hard to share that stuff though, because like I don't want to give anything away. So it's like talking about it kind of gives stuff away.
Yeah, you have to wait for some of that
This one's
deeper
really
stuff
tricky,
until like
you
the
know?
whole story's been told.
There's some way
and
I'd
then
love
you
to
can go back.
I'd love to get together with some of you that are really interested in writing and characters and stuff like that, just to have an open discussion about that. If you're
Well,
working on
that's
stories
something
and all that, I mean, you know how
I
much I
think
love
you should do
the writing
on
thing.
Patreon.
I've been kicking around the idea of starting a Patreon and just like some low level
section where
stuff.
you guys can almost
Thank
have
you
like
so
a
much.
writing group.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate
Super
that a
chats.
great deal. Super chats
Elysian,
are always
we
lovely.
appreciate you.
You
That
guys
is
know.
a really cute little.
Yes, give it away. No.
Yes.
You guys know I always
Sorry,
appreciate you.
I'm
and
dancing with the thing on the screen.
it is good. It's a little thank you thing. Yeah, no, I like that. I love spoilers. No,
So
no
weird.
spoilers. Spoilers
No,
are terrible.
no spoilers.
So again, thank you to everybody. This was a good discussion. I think like we hit on a lot, and I think there's a lot in the comments in that live chat that if you're watching this after the fact, that would really help out. When this video gets posted, the live chat will not be available. Just so you know,
Oh, no.
It usually takes like a day or two.
I can't answer that.
Last question.
Favorite anime?
Well, let me tell you, it's not Attack on Titan. Okay. Because
I told him to watch it, and he thought it would be a good idea to watch it like in the middle of the night when he couldn't sleep.
yeah, I was having a lot of anxiety. It was like 1 a.m. and I'm like, this isn't anime. And then these things started eating people.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the hell am I
not what
watching
you
right
watch
now?
in the
Like, but
middle
then
of
I
the
got
night.
drawn into it, and then like I couldn't sleep because like
I feel like
like,
yours
it's-
is probably.
I really like Blue Exorcist. I do like Blue Exorcist a lot. I mean, do you consider Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I was gonna say that's
anime?
your favorite, isn't it?
100%.
It is. It's definitely more like Americanized, but it's still
100%. That is my favorite.
My favorite is
absolutely.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
It's a mouthful.
Well,
I
we
just
just
like-
call it Ava, but
I like Zuko. I've got a real soft spot for Zuko, man. That's like that whole character arc in Airbender was like that was just it was perfect. It was so well written. It was so
you
well
haven't
done.
even seen a lot of the classics.
I was some.
Cowboy Bebop,
I missed that one.
Trigun.
I don't know what that is.
You've seen Akira.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time
See,
ago.
like, I'm not good with the newer stuff. I need, like, suggestions for newer stuff. Like,
Sometimes-
I'm a classic anime gal.
Sometimes I Naruto run down the hallway here.
I cannot stand that anime. Okay, we could have a literal whole entire live stream about anime. Like, that's a
fine.
problem. Are there any other last minute questions before we go? I feel
Anything
like we
you
should
want to throw out at all,
go
just throw
in
it
a
out
few
there.
minutes.
Like, what is it? Just drum roll, please.
This was a great live
There's your thing.
stream. Live planty chat and live bookie chat would be great.
I would love
Listen,
that.
I'll talk
Yeah.
about plants.
Drink water,
all day
everyone.
long.
Yes, drink water, please.
Can we just
Stay
film some
hydrated.
plant shopping today? We had a lot of fun. Not
We did?
today, yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was good.
Yeah.
We didn't really come across too much.
No,
yeah.
but we still had fun.
Right, right,
Neon Flux, yes.
right.
Also a good one.
Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I've got a soft spot for Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit, I couldn't get into that one. I like the old animated one where they were singing and that, like, that was all kind of weird in the 70s and stuff. So there was that. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you.
Cute little kitty. Your cat didn't make an appearance today.
No, and you know what? I think it's important for you to understand too, because I just saw that.
The Dragon Princess. I feel like I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
It's the one on Netflix, I think.
Is it?
The Dragon Prince? Dragon Princess?
Princess?
I think it's the Dragon Prince. I think that's the one. And actually has the dude who voiced Sokka in Airbender. He's like the main character. He's one of the main characters.
Okay.
That's a good one, and it's like CGI,
I like all
but
the
it looks like cell animation. That's a good show.
Studio Ghibli movies.
Yeah,
too.
no, we should watch that one. That was a good one.
I will watch
Right.
Miyazaki movies every day of my life and be okay with it.
Aragorn from Lord of the Rings is an INFJ. I can probably see that.
I'm too INFJ for anime. What does that even mean?
Getting to know more of yourself. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I have a Harry Potter
just want to
tattoo.
help people, right? We're
I
trying
have an
to
anime tattoo
help people.
that
through
somebody said
experience.
was.
It's not a fascist symbol.
No,
an anime
it's a pretty universal symbol at this
Yeah,
point in time too.
yeah.
I mean, there's an emoji for it on your keyboard.
Do
now.
any of you watch Agritsuko on Netflix? Because like I really like the fact that she has a terrible job and then sings death metal in order to
Yes.
get through her day.
I love that
I
one.
really,
too.
there's something about that.
That's a good
really
one to watch
fantastic.
when you just like want to throw something on.
Yes, my favorite
Because for
song
some
is
reason,
Shitty
all
Boss.
of the other animes that I watch are so serious. You have to like really watch them.
No, that one. And then when you get to the dude who is like all about protein, like that's just a really good show. Protein.
For those of you who have seen Ava, because I think I saw somebody comment that they were happy that I liked that. I think that the main character, Shinji, is an INFJ. And I think it's really common, actually, in anime. I say it all the time. Why is the main lead character always so whiny?
That happens.
And,
yeah.
like, so,
It
like,
seems like
insecure
especially
and
when they do the English
self-deprecating.
dubbing, they make it worse.
They're so whiny.
Yeah.
I swear he is an INFJ. Actually, the movie, what's that movie that I like? With, what's his face? With the kaiju, they come out of the water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That one is
What's the
actually
name of
like
the
a
movie?
blatant
Guillermo del Toro.
ripoff of Neon
Pacific
Gen-
Rim. Whew.
Pacific
Okay,
Rim
Pacific Rim. Yeah,
is
yeah.
a blatant ripoff of Neon Genesis
Do you guys-
Evangelion.
Do you people have to talk about Leonard Nimoy singing the Bilbo song? Because that's going to be stuck in my head.
Studio Ghibli, yes.
It took me 12 years to forget the last time I
Divine
heard that.
Intervention. I have
Ugh.
Howl's Moving Castle tattoo on my back.
I'm going to have to play that for you.
What?
Leonard Nimoy singing about Bilbo Baggins.
Do I really need to see that?
No,
I
but
feel
I'm
like
probably
I
just going to
don't
do it anyway.
Need to see that.
It should be, it should be really important. It's really bad.
Yes. I made you watch Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
You like Gigi.
I did like Gigi very much. Yeah.
Takeaway: anime INFJs are whiny.
Whiny.
Yes,
Yeah, they really
most.
are.
I mean, I feel like a lot of like really young, immature INFJs tend to.
And hey,
be
look, this was
whiny.
something that I kind of wanted to cover in a video. Was INFJs
Why are we so
in
whiny?
well, no, in media, in movies, in stories, and
Yeah.
just some of the because there's a lot that people always go to. They always say
Characters.
Galadriel is an INFJ. I don't know if I quite agree with it. Yeah, I guess so. Like I can see it. But it's really interesting.
Batman.
Plus, my character.
Somebody
in
says
this book,
Batman's an INFJ
is
too.
Batman doesn't matter. This matters. Yeah.
Well, that's why I love Howl's Moving Castle because
I don't
Howl
think
is
he
voiced by
is.
Christian Bale,
I
and
think
Christian
he's-
Bale is Batman to me. Okay,
Yeah, but in order to
who's
make
Batman?
but he
Batman
makes
for
all those
you?
little doohickeys and all that.
Who's your Batman?
Oh, it's Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's Batman. He's Batman. But I'm just saying,
Or what's
Batman's
his
like
face is
Batman's
gonna
really
be Batman
logical.
now,
He's all
right?
like, I mean, yeah, he's like a little feely. I would
The Twilight guy.
I would see. Oh yeah,
He's gonna be the new Batman, right?
yeah, Edward, right? Sparkly dude, sparkly vampire. guy.
Hopefully he's not a sparkly Batman.
I think he'll be all right. Like I'm looking forward to it. Like nobody.
Batman doesn't kill.
It's not gonna be as bad as Val Kilmer.
I hate when people are always
saying.
like, oh, Batman is a covert sociopath.
That's fantastic.
I love when people try to talk smack about Batman like he doesn't have
Listen.
he doesn't have any like magic powers. I'm
I'm
like,
gonna-
that's what makes him more badass.
I'm gonna tell you all right
he
now.
just has money instead.
The best Batman is Will Arnett's Lego Batman.
You don't need to
And
have
I don't
superpowers.
really think
You
there's
just
any
need to have a
argument.
lot of money.
Lego Batman is the best. He's hysterical. That's
I
like
only
that's the
saw
that's
the
the
one
funny
time.
Batman the way he should be. He's
Nausicaa
really
is a
hilarious.
good one.
Yeah.
Yes. I like Laputa, Castle in the Sky. That one's super underrated in my opinion. You watched it. I think you fell
Did I?
asleep.
Probably. That happens.
I don't know if I agree with Batman being one either. A Whisker Away. Didn't we watch that?
Yes, we did.
Is
Batman.
that-
No, wait, hold on. The next one. Batman wears his underwear on the outside. He's got other issues.
He's
like
Icelandic.
Alex from Clockwork Orange. They're just like the same dude, but
this
not
is
really.
how you say Batman in Icelandic. Try saying it.
I don't know what those letters are.
I don't know how to make those noises.
No, I'm not even gonna try
Louder,
it.
Bakia.
Michael Keaton, right? He's the best. I
Yeah.
mean, you know what Batman is. You know how old somebody is by what Batman is theirs.
Yeah.
Unless it's Val Kilmer, then there's just something wrong with that person.
You have issues.
Yeah, that's not okay.
We can't address those here.
Totally Lego Batman. Yes.
Yes,
Right?
Lego Batman. Okay.
Right. He's hysterical.
We've got 2 more minutes. Does anybody have anything
Anything
like
else?
narcissist related that doesn't
Yeah.
have to do with
Is Batman a narcissist?
Sure.
I could have a whole video about Batman being a narcissist. That'd probably do way better than any of my other videos.
A Clockwork Orange was crazy, especially the first time I watched it. Have any of you ever seen Requiem for a
Shouldn't
Dream?
watch that as a preteen.
What were we just watching where they referenced Requiem for a Dream too? And I was like, you won't get it.
It was the thing where they were doing cough syrup shots.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it was.
The way
What
they
was
cut
that?
the
Happy Endings?
scenes.
Was that the show?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Happy Endings.
The
Was
way
the
they
show.
cut the scenes.
Right, with the eye, like the pupil getting dilated and the drinking the whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
that show
stuff was.
references
It was
a
like
lot.
some kind of
It was
NyQuil
like
from another
Robitussin,
country.
but like from another country.
Right.
So
Like
it
it's
can make you go
illegal.
blind.
It's illegal
The
in
show
4
is so dumb,
countries.
but I like watching it at night.
That was pretty funny.
Tony Stark is a narcissist. Hey, listen, don't hate on Iron Man, alright?
I mean, it's
but I love him. He's
Yeah,
so
but, like,
funny and sarcastic.
he's got some traits. No, you know. He's cool
yeah,
dude,
no,
like,
but he shows empathy.
I hang out with
he
him.
shows
for sure.
empathy.
He does. Yeah. Yeah.
Just after.
Just
After he blows everything up.
after he drops a
Just
city
after
on,
he,
you
like,
know.
causes
Yeah.
a whole bunch of trouble for a bunch
No,
of
that's
people
fine.
to save, like, one
Like
person.
I've got some
and
issues
there's
with the
them.
Marvel movies. I like a lot of them, but like everything just
What
went sideways with
superhero
him.
isn't slightly narcissistic, though?
Um,
Don't they
All right,
all
so that's
love
a valid
themselves
question.
a little bit?
Hawkeye. Hawkeye's not a narcissist.
Deadpool.
I don't know what he is. It's something
awesome.
totally different with him.
Anyway, our time is up.
Yes. I appreciate you. Thank
Captain
you, thank you,
America is
sweeties. I
better than
appreciate
Iron
that.
Man.
Phoenix Jean
Captain
Jean Grey
America,
as an
I'm
INFJ.
sorry, you guys. Captain America is the most boring character.
No, I'm 100% Team Cap. Totally Team Cap.
Maybe I just like the bad
Look,
ones.
in Civil War, he was right.
I
I'm
like the
sorry.
anti-heroes.
He was right.
I
Yeah,
know.
well,
You know what? I get. He's a good guy. Whatever.
good
But
dude.
like, I like the anti-heroes so
Yeah.
much better.
We're gonna go and we're gonna argue over this for a while. So
We
that's
are.
great. It's fine. But thank you everybody for
Yes,
joining
Robert
in on
Downey
this.
Jr. is not a narcissist. He's a good guy.
No, he's a good dude. Yeah, he's a good dude. But
But
appreciate
we haven't
you.
watched that Loki show yet.
Okay, we need to say bye though. I know there's
Team
lots
Cap,
of
no cap.
Cap, no cap.
We're having a hard time ending this. Okay.
Team Cap for real.
Go buy
Um,
this book.
Please. I would
I
appreciate
think
it.
you would really like it because I did, and I don't really read books.
Yeah, neither do I. I wrote it.
It takes a lot for me to read a book. I need romance, and I need like some sort of like supernatural science fiction, like something.
There's gonna be some
dystopian
romance in the next one,
something.
but you're gonna hate it. So that's
No,
good.
but like the whole storyline, with D
Right.
is definitely necessary.
Thank you guys. Love you. Thank you so much for being
make you
here
cry, but
and
it's
all
fine.
that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it. I'll be seeing you again on a video soon, somewhere here. I'll
We
be
can record
uploading
something.
We'll do something else.
You guys have
Any
any
suggestions? Just send them. Like send a DM to me on Instagram or
Comment
something
when
like
this
that.
is
Like,
over.
hey, this kind of video would be pretty cool. I'd really appreciate
Don't
that.
forget to thumbs this up before you leave too.
Yeah.
You can do that right now. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
and
gonna take
throw
a
a
little while
comment
before YouTube can process and upload this video to be watched back.
Right. Right.
So
Okay, well, my sweet INFJs and everyone else that's there, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and we will see you very, very soon. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this.
you gotta just hit the X in the corner.
Where's the X?
Bye, right there.
Oh, it's that one. Okay. Bye.